Hi, day 36, part 2. So, that story with the woman and the crumbling walls, it reminded me of this story called The Matchstick Girl. It's an old tale. I think it might be Hans Christian Andersen. And it's quite sad. And interestingly, I saw a Disney version, a short film they made of that story last night, randomly. And I remember watching it thinking, oh God, how are they going to ruin the story, and like turn it into some, yeah, happy thing. Um, Not that I don't like happy endings, it's just there's value in, yeah, tragedy as well. So, but they didn't. And so I'll tell you the story real quick. So the story, it's called The Little Matchstick Girl. And so she was a poor girl and she sold long matchsticks in the winter of the country she was in. And in one really cold winter day, she was, going around all day, and she was a happy girl, and she would try to sell these matchsticks, and people just ignored her. And people were starting to use lighters, and street lamps were lit, and no one would buy these matchsticks. So finally, at the end of the night, she's huddled, and she's so cold, and she has like 4 matchsticks that she needs to sell to like find to pay for food. And but she's so cold that finally she breaks down and she lights one, and it warms her. And in the light of that fire, she starts to see like food and a warm fireplace. And just as she's about to eat, and just as she's about to like snuggle next to the fire, the matchstick burns out. So she like waits and waits and tries to tolerate the cold. And then again, as night wears on, she lights another matchstick. And in the glow of that matchstick, she sees a Christmas tree lit up with like hundreds of these candles. And then like a grandmother figure like come in and pick her up. And again, just as she's about to like open a gift or something, the matchstick goes out, the fire goes out. So she has like, so this kind of goes on, and then finally she doesn't care anymore, and she lights like the rest that she has and at once. And you see her like being held by this grandmother, and it doesn't go out, and it's because she died. Yeah. And so I don't know why that reminds me of that story, I guess just like the walls, like talking to the walls. It's like she's this matchstick, like this, in the glow of this matchstick, she's seeing beyond this flame, right? She's seeing a whole story in that flame, and it's giving her sustenance. And so for her last moments of life, instead of just dying, like freezing and feeling completely lonely, she used her imagination and traveled to other realms where, her last moments were in complete like sweetness and peace, albeit a little bit of frustration when the matches kept going out. Oh, I'll just share something funny. So I for my father's 70th birthday, my brother and I bought him a ping pong table. I just thought it would be a cool way to have my parents kind of like play and do something together. My dad plays a lot of golf, and he works and he does all this other stuff, but when he's at home, he just kind of ends up like watching TV, and they don't really interact much. So, and then these kind of practical reasons, I thought the whole hand-eye coordination, and I was hoping they'd use it, but I wasn't sure. But they use it like all the time. Like after dinner, they play table tennis, so it's really cute. Anyway, I walked in on them tonight after the class playing, and I said, "Hey," I was like, "Guess what? I think 2 women from this class might be interested in taking my class." And my dad goes like, kind of rolls his eyes, and my mom goes, "Yeah, like if they show up, you don't even know, like you can't really trust what people say. Like they haven't paid yet, have they?" And I just said, So So like in the past, I think I just would have gotten like hurt and then walked away, but I just said, yeah, guys, thanks for the encouragement. Like, did you say anything positive, And then my mom, she actually stopped playing and cracked up laughing, and it was so cool because I think because I didn't really have any resistance, like she saw herself, and she was, and I said, yeah, I was like, you sound just like grandma and grandpa, my mom's parents, who are like super hardcore and mean and negative. So, and she cracked up laughing and said, yeah, well, what do you expect? Like that's what I grew up around. And it was just a nice moment, like to be able to see. I mean, to acknowledge like that it didn't feel good to hear it, but also not to take it that seriously, and then to have compassion for my mom. I mean, yeah, and they're so sweet. My parents were so sweet. So, and I think it was cool to actually be honest because I think maybe they will be more mindful and maybe because my dad said he said oh he was like I guess I react like that, like just like rolling his eyes or being like I don't know, just laughing about it, not really. He said because it doesn't, it's hard to believe, and what he means is like it's hard to believe like in the work that I'm doing and that I could actually be like successful because they're pretty cool. They try to be open about it, but they're also just kind of watching me like because they don't, it's very unfamiliar to them, and they don't know how it could possibly be successful. Like people could actually want what I do. um I mean, I remember actually the first time I had like an art show, I sold a couple paintings, and it wasn't a bunch, but I mean, just the fact that I sold any, and you could see like my parents, like a couple people went up to my parents and they were like, "Oh wow, your house must be like beautiful and filled with paintings," and they're like, nope." Like they sit in the garage, and so I think it was good for them to, yeah, just to see like the world. There is a place for it, and so yeah, so it was just sweet that my dad even said that, like, it's not that I like don't believe in you or anything. It's just that it's kind of like weird for him, and because it's hard to believe. And I said, I get it. I was like, but this is when support would be nice, when it is hard to believe, because like when it's obvious that I'm successful, I'm not going to need the support. It's like now when it's hard to believe and like no one else can see it but me, that like it'd be cool if you guys said something like, oh hey, good job, like something. But I don't really need it. I mean, I really don't need it for my parents. But it was just fun to be able to talk about lightly. Another thing that was really awesome was I talked to a friend who just had a baby, and we hadn't talked for a few months, and I mean, you guys know if you've been watching these videos, my emotions, they're all, all over the place, rich and varied. And so, I was kind of in my own thing, and then I found this like beautiful forest thing, and as I was talking to her, I wasn't sure actually like how it would go because, I mean, I was interested in hearing about her and listened to how her labor was and everything, and that was really awesome. But I didn't really feel like talking about myself because I was kind of like I didn't even know where to begin, and we're kind of in like different worlds, we have like different types of lives, and so yeah, I just didn't know where to begin. And then as I just started talking, telling her a few things about my life, I didn't realize it, but I was getting lighter and lighter and feeling really happy, and she felt it, and she was like, wow, I've never heard you so happy. And this is cool because this is a friend I've known since I was 17. It's like 20 years, and wow, it's exactly 20 years. That's crazy. And so yeah, I think it's like, one, I think it's awesome that I'm happier than I was when I was a 17-year-old girl. Two, I think it's awesome that I'm really happy at this point in my life when I don't have my own home. I am not making money. I'm not in a relationship. any normal relationship, I guess. I don't haven't seen any friends in like months. And yeah, like everything in my life is a question. Um, and I feel really good. And that, like, to me, that's freedom. Like, oh yeah, and I got that message today. I was yeah, like the universe was like, I don't remember what was happening, but a message came that said, you're already free. Um, yeah. Oh, and that's what I mean about the cocoon thing, right? Because it's like, oh yeah, I mean, I said it in that thing, but I was just like, again, speaking like I thought I was just making an art piece, but it's like, no, you declared it and that's real. So yeah, it's feeling pretty awesome.